Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the very first step to starting a print-on-demand store. And what it comes down to is understanding your traffic. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I use Pinterest ads for print-on-demand. Now, you don't have to use Pinterest ads for print-on-demand. You could use whatever method or whatever strategy that you feel comfortable using. But since this is the first video of, I guess you could say, a series that I'm starting on this channel of building a print-on-demand store outside of the marketplace platforms, but really controlling your own platform and your own website, it's important and it's valuable to talk about starting your own website and starting your own brand and learning how to acquire traffic to that brand. So the best place to start is understanding your game plan. Okay, so for me, I'm going to share my 3 reasons why I use Pinterest ads for print on demand. Now, you heard me mention a game plan, and why a game plan is important is you're going to have to understand before you actually start your business how to acquire and convert traffic. This is something you're going to have planned before you begin. Believe it or not, there are some people who are not sure of how they're going to do that. You have to do that before you start your brand. Before you pay that subscription to Shopify or WordPress or whatever kind of platform you're going to be using for your print-on-demand store, you have to know how you're going to acquire traffic and how you're going to convert that traffic. It's not an excuse to say, I don't know, or whatever, or any kind of excuse like that. You have to actually know because your traffic are your customers, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing you have to know before you get into the business is you have to know what kind of style you're going to produce for your print-on-demand. What do I mean by when I say style? What products are you going to sell? Your branding. How are you going to create your brand, right? What is your brand going to stand for? What is it going to mean? What products are you going to sell through your brand? I'll give you a good example. There are some businesses for print-on-demand that will only sell t-shirts, nothing else. Some will sell t-shirts and hoodies. Some will sell t-shirts, hoodies, masks, stickers, hats, all kinds of stuff. You have to figure out what you're going to sell. Sometimes you might want to go the exotic route and sell hooded blankets. There's so many things that you can do. You just have to figure out what lane you're going to jump in. And that lane of selling a specific kind of product is one of the first steps to creating that brand. So for example, I have a brand where I sell posters, and the posters are motivational business type posters for people who are entrepreneurs, who are in the business space, etc. That's a brand that serves that specific need. You're going to have to figure out what brand you're going to create. Another example of a brand, this is not one that I created, but it exists out there, where there was a store that sold t-shirts only, but it had the design of a state on each t-shirt. And I forget what the store was called, but it was basically, it said the word home right in the middle of that state. So if it was the state of Texas, they would have the state of Texas on there, and they would say the word home on there. And they would advertise specifically to the people who lived in Texas for that t-shirt. Now, that's a clever idea. That's an example of your brand, your style, what you're going to bring to your marketplace. I want you to understand that most times for beginners, you're not going to be able to do everything. There are certain businesses that do provide everything. So, for example, if you look at a website like Shein or Fashion Nova, for example, right? These are different brands that do provide everything, but they have larger ad budgets, they have better game plans, and they have a lot of staff. So you have to figure out, very specifically, all right, and very creatively what you're going to do. Now that we got that out of the way of creating the business plan, it's time to jump into, like I said, the 3 reasons why I use Pinterest for my ads, which is the very first step to learning how to acquire traffic and convert for your business plan. Okay, so the first reason why I use Pinterest advertising as opposed to other forms of advertising is number 1, the very obvious, cheaper CPA costs than any other platform from the big 3. Who's the big 3? The big 3 is Google, Meta, and Meta contains 2. You have Facebook and IG with Google, and then you have the third. The third, depending on your personality, it might be either Pinterest or it might be TikTok. The reason why I put a bonus tip here is I don't use TikTok because it's slower, and I'll explain what I mean by that. When you create an ad, okay, the number one thing that you have to first have is a creative. A creative is in reference to the concept of the ad, the image, the video, etc. What's going to be the thing that hooks in the viewer, right? The creative on TikTok is obvious. It's a really well created video by an influencer. That shouldn't even be negotiated upon. That's obvious. But for me, if I have to buy the product, send it to my, influencers, figure out who the right influencers are, then convince them to post the video, send me the video, then hope that the video is good enough that it will actually get attention, then take it, then pay ads on it, then see that it either works or flops. That's not a good business move for me because that takes too long, right? With Pinterest, I have immediate rollout, and I've shared this in the Pinterest course, the advertising course. If anybody wants to check it out, I'll leave the link in the description box down below. It costs $99. Like I said, I'll leave it in the description box down below. However, this is one of the things or one of the benefits by using Pinterest. You have immediate rollout with your creative. Your creative is the thing that's going to take the longest amount of time to procure if you're using the TikTok strategy. Now, people might say, well, isn't TikTok cheaper than Pinterest? First of all, TikTok is not cheaper than Pinterest, right? Even though it is cheaper than the big two, right? You have IG, Facebook, Google, right? It's cheaper than those. The creative takes so long to create that the discount that you're getting on TikTok is not really worth the benefit for a guy like me. There are other people who have the ability to create the creative right away because they are the influencer. They are the person. I'm not the influencer, so I have no reason to do that. Therefore, I'm not personally, and this is personally, not using TikTok. You can go ahead and use TikTok, but I'll tell you this now. If you don't have a creative idea that catches a lot of attention, right, you're not going to be able to generate sales through TikTok. TikTok is a very, very clear way of advertising. It does take longer. It takes a specific skill to create good videos, and that's not the way for me. Personally, I use what I know and what I'm good with. I'm not going to go ahead and stress myself to learn something new. Meanwhile, I could be making thousands on a different platform. All right. So the obvious answer is cheaper CPM costs. In fact, I think I actually mentioned it somewhere here on the landing page of the course of how much cheaper it is. In fact, this is a good description of this. The CPMs for Pinterest, you're looking at $2 to $5. For Facebook, you're looking at $25 to $30, and for Google, you're looking at $34 to $38. So if you do the math on that, this is almost $40. This is almost, let's just say, $5. There's a huge difference. That's an 8-time difference between the two. And obviously, it does depend on your niche. Some niches with Facebook, with Google, you'll pay significantly more than an 8-time difference. Sometimes it's a little bit less. It just depends on the situation. But it is significant, the difference between them. And if I can cut my costs while figuring out my conversion rate, and that's another pro tip, you have to figure out your conversion rate. And using an advertising system like Pinterest allows you to do that cheaper than other platforms. All right. So that's the first way. The first thing is that it's cheaper than other platforms. All right. Number 2 is that hyper-targeting works for Pinterest. Hyper-targeting is a thing that I rely on for my business. Anybody who's joined the course here knows exactly what that is. I've shown how to do it, how to specifically do it. Now, I'll explain what hyper-targeting is. Hyper-targeting is the ability to specifically target that person and what they want, okay? What happens is on other platforms, most people do not use hyper-targeting. They use generalized interest targeting. I do not do that. I use hyper-targeting. Hyper-targeting is also known as laser targeting or micro-targeting. You've heard people say these kind of buzzwords before, but essentially what it is where I specifically target a very, very specific group of people that are looking for the product that I'm selling, as opposed to showing the ad to people who are maybe not interested in my product and having to convince them. That's the main difference. And I'll repeat that, okay? That is the main difference. The main difference between a hyper-targeted laser micro-targeting ad platform versus a interest platform is the interest platform takes the ad and shows it to viewers who may not necessarily be interested, but you have to focus on converting them. The laser targeted ad platform allows me to take my ad and target very specifically who needs to see that or who is already looking for that product. If I can provide my product to somebody who's already looking for it, I have a much higher chance of making money, right? Now, let's go ahead and talk about other platforms that have this laser targeting approach. Google has it. But once again, as I mentioned, Google is like 7 to 9 times higher. I think that past example, it was 8 times higher than Pinterest. So for every 1 click that I pay for Pinterest, for example, I'm going to be paying significantly more on Facebook. For every 1,000 or CPA, for every 1,000 impressions that I'm CPM, sorry, for every 1,000 impressions that I get on Pinterest, I'm going to be paying significantly higher on Google. So for me, Google is great. It's just more expensive, okay? And when I use Facebook, well, Facebook doesn't offer laser micro targeting. It doesn't offer that. That's not a thing on Facebook, okay? And I'm willing to, show this in the future and things like that, but this is exactly how I do my advertising. And like I said, it's all on the course, so I'll leave that link in the description. But that's the second reason why, is the laser targeting. I want to be able to show my ad to people who are already looking for the product that I'm selling, as opposed to showing it to them, then trying to convince them, trying to make them feel like it's a good product. I'm not about that, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the third one, and it's better organic reach. And let me explain what I mean by that. When you create a Pinterest ad, you have to have a Pinterest account, and that Pinterest account is linked to an account, a store, products, images, pins, right? Pinterest posts, which are referred to as pins. It's linked to all these things. When I take an ad, right, or when I take a pin and I pay for advertising on that pin to be shown to a specific audience, what happens is my account naturally grows. People follow me, people interact with my account, all these kind of things. Very similar to if you create a Facebook ad using a Facebook page, right? And people like the Facebook page and are attracted to that Facebook page and somehow follow or engage, right? When people do that, what you're doing is you're building up your organic reach. Now, the question is what's more valuable? Is it more valuable to build your organic reach on a platform like Facebook or on a platform like Pinterest? My argument is Pinterest. Why? Because Pinterest allows me to get higher reach than Facebook ever will. If you actually create a Facebook page, and if you know anything about Facebook, I have a Facebook page with over 100,000 visitors, 100,000 viewers. They're called Facebook page followers, right? And I paid for advertising for that page, right, to promote my other products. That Facebook page, every time I create a post, gets less than 1,000 views most of the time. Unless it's like a viral post, most of the time it gets less than 1,000 views. Why is that? Well, Facebook introduced something called the boosting post, and it's been around for a long time, so it's not like this is new. But on the little Facebook page, you have a button on like the left-hand side that says boost post. And basically what it is you pay extra to have that post seen by your Facebook page or more people in your Facebook page, people that already follow your page. Well, for me, what's the point of building up a page if I'm not going to be able to reach them, right? So the benefit of advertising on Pinterest, when I use that Pinterest account and I get more attention, when I post something organically on Pinterest, I already have the followers and the traffic, the following base to back up my traffic and create my traffic. So I don't always have to invest all the time in advertising to be able to get a sale right away, especially if I'm creating products in my same niche, which is very important, which goes back to the branding, which is, I don't say these things for no reason. Branding is extremely important, right? When you create that branding and you fit in a niche and you create products and you're starting to get sales, people understand you as a specific brand. When you're building up that account, you can start making organic posts that are not advertising-based posts, get attention for those posts simply because you have grown that account over time. So these things might seem to a viewer from the outside not like a big deal. These 3 tips. But these 3 tips are the things that have saved me thousands of dollars when it came down to advertising. Like I said, most beginners are going to watch a YouTube video and they're going to see, oh, Facebook ads. Oh, let me try Facebook ads. They're going to go spend 5, 10, 20K and lose it all, and they're not going to know what they're doing, right? Most people are going to do something like that. But like I said, it all comes down to building that brand. You can go ahead and try every strategy in the book, right? I would say for beginners, Pinterest is the best way to generate traffic for a beginner. And the cool thing about Pinterest that I didn't mention is that when you have an ad budget, you don't need to blow it right away because of the certain strategy that we use when it comes down to advertising. All right, which once again, I mentioned that earlier. If you skipped through the video, you didn't watch the whole video, go watch it again. But granted, what I'm trying to say here is that it's more budget friendly. It's more for a beginner. It's less costly, okay? So something that I would recommend against is you're going to get, as soon as you sign up to Pinterest advertising, they're going to ask you for your email, they're going to ask you for your phone number because they want a Pinterest salesman to communicate with you. I highly advise against this. This is just, once again, from my experience, from somebody who spent over the 80K advertising on Pinterest. What's going to happen is they're going to message you and they're going to tell you, we're a Pinterest expert. We're going to show you how to run Pinterest ads, all this. They're not going to show you how to do the laser targeting. They're going to show you how to do generalized targeting, which costs you as a seller more money. Let me explain. What is laser targeting? Like I said, laser targeting is when I take my product and I put it in front of a person who's already looking for that product. Does that make sense? So for example, if you are already looking for a let's just say a handmade wooden desk, okay? I know that's not related to print on demand, but I'm using this as an example. I can select that person, target that person, and show them the product of the thing that exactly that they're looking for in front of their eyes, which increases my conversion rate dramatically compared to somebody who has to find somebody who potentially might be interested in it based on their interests and then try to convert them on the idea who's not currently looking for it. What's easier to sell? Is it somebody who's looking for a car or somebody you have to convince to buy a car? It's somebody who's looking for the product, who's looking for the car. So if there is not a desire for the product, then you shouldn't even sell to that person. You're wasting your time. It makes advertising much harder and much more costly. And like I said, those experts that are going to message you when you sign up for Pinterest ads, they're going to say, hey, jump on a call with us. We're going to show you what to do, etc. And they're going to set you up with some ads. They're going to get you spending a lot of wasted money. Okay, so don't waste your time with them. No offense, no disrespect to them. But if they knew how to advertise, they wouldn't be sitting on that phone call trying to sell you to how to learn how to advertise. They wouldn't. That's, idiotic. It's reverse psychology. Like, think about this. If I knew what I was doing when it came to advertising, why would you need why would you need to have a job working at Pinterest selling advertising to other people? You wouldn't need it. What they are, they're salesmen. They explain that they're showing you how to use it. They're just showing you what the platform is about. And they'll start creating ads for you that really are not going to help you convert. They're not advertising experts. They don't know what it takes to convert a sale, to get money, to get sales, to create that customer, turn the lead into the customer. They don't know these kind of things. But what they'll do is they'll act as if they will, just to get you to spend more money, because that's what they are. They're salesmen for Pinterest. So keep that in mind. All right. The platform is a great platform. You just have to learn how to use it properly. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace out. Bye.